Hi, this is Diane Lovetobake, and what we're going to make is actually a copycat or clone recipe to Starbucks lemon pound cake. This particular pound cake really comes out extremely moist, quite light really in texture, and it's really a great tasting cake, especially with a cup of coffee or a cup of tea, that type of thing. Again, it is not the exact recipe, but I think it comes pretty close. So let's get started. First off, let's get our dry ingredients ready. And we're going to start off with 1½ cups of all-purpose flour. Then we're going to be putting in 1½ teaspoons of baking powder into your flour. That was 1½ teaspoons. And then you're also going to be putting in 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And then with a spoon, I'm just going to stir that together, and we'll set it aside for the moment. Next, let's start creaming our butter. And you're going to be using 1 cup of butter that's been at room temperature, and I cut it into small pieces because I think it's easier to break up the butter and to cream it. Now, if you want to use, of course, your stand-up mixer, this recipe works out really great with that. I like to use my stand because I think it's, well, it is faster, especially for the video. So I'm going to just start to cream and break up that butter. The next thing that I'm going to be putting in is 1¼ cups of granulated sugar, a little at a time, and just cream it with the butter till it becomes quite light and fluffy. And that was 1¼ cups of that. All right, I just want to get to the side of my mixing bowl here and to the bottom where it tends to stick. Okay, the next thing we're going to be adding one at a time are 4 eggs, and I've had them at room temperature, so we'll beat in one at a time, and when that gets incorporated, then I'll add the other one. Now the second one I'm putting in. And now the third. I'm going to raise my speed just a little bit. And the 4th egg has now went in. Now this recipe really doesn't take a whole lot of time. You do want to make sure, though, in this step, that everything is creamed well. It becomes quite light, pale yellow in color, and again, fluffy. So I'm going to let it just go for a couple more seconds here. We're also going to be putting in vanilla. So you're going to be using 1 teaspoon of vanilla. And we'll beat that in. And then we're also going to be putting in 1/3 cup of lemon juice. Now the last thing that we're going to be putting in is 1½ teaspoons of actual lemon extract. 1½ teaspoon. And now I'm just going to beat it till I know everything is smooth and it's combined. And that shouldn't take you very long. Okay, and I'm going to show you what that looks like so far. Again, I'm always concerned to get those sides cleaned and get to the bottom. Okay? Now we're just going to start slowly adding our dry to our wet ingredients till it's nicely combined. And we'll do a little at a time because we don't want, of course, flour to go all over the kitchen. I'm at about medium-low speed. Again, just a little at a time. So all your flour and dry ingredients have been mixed in. And I'm going to raise my speed a little bit. Now you don't want to overbeat either, because you don't want the cake to come out, you know, tough and heavy and dense. But you do want to make sure, though, that everything has been combined. So I'm just going to give this another couple seconds here. I'm going to raise my speed, move it along for the video. Now, of course, you're going to need a loaf pan, and you'll want to heavily spray it or oil it or grease, whatever you prefer to do. I'm going to take my paddle out of here and take off my excess. And we'll set that aside. And now I'm just going to make sure that everything has come together. It's mixed well. And I know I've gotten to the bottom of that mixing bowl. And here we have a nice, rich, yellow, very light batter. All right, and now we'll just pour that into our loaf pan. I want to get that all out of there. There we go. Okay, very good. And let's set that aside. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to put this in an oven at 350 degrees, and it's going to take you anywhere from 50 to 60 minutes to bake up. Now, take a toothpick or your cake tester and check throughout the whole entire cake. Again, you don't want to overbake this particular pound cake because then they become very dry and you're not going to be pleased with the cake. But do start checking it early. I actually start checking mine about 45 minutes because we do realize that all ovens set up so differently. So I'm going to put that aside because I'd like to show you, as I rinse my hands real quickly here, what it looks like once it is baked up. And this is what it will look like. Now, you're probably used to always seeing that nice thick glaze that they put on their pound cake. And to make that, you need 1 cup of powdered sugar, 2 tablespoons of milk, and a half a teaspoon, again, of your lemon extract for the topping. And when it comes out, you'll have, again, that nice thick icing or topping or glaze on the top, and then you'll have this beautiful textured pound cake. And I'm just going to, take my fork to show you the nice crumb that comes from this pound cake. It really is a delicious cake, and it's pretty easy to make. So that's it for me today. But if you give this recipe a try and you like it, leave a comment because I'd really like to hear from you. And as always, thanks for watching Diane Lovetobake. And please subscribe to my channel. I'll see you soon.